Entry-level mining information. Welcome to Australian Mining for New Starters, and today we're starting a new series on entry-level mining information for new starters. We've had a little bit of a problem calling it the news, so we're going to avoid that. We're going to call it mining information instead. It's still going to have the same format as last year. We've just changed it around a little bit. We're going to do the prices as we go along for each metal, and then we'll talk about each section of that industry as we do the metal. So to start with, let's have a look at the hard rock section of the industry, and we'll bring up nickel price to start with at 16,000 US. That makes it a bit over 20,000 Australian, so $20,802 a tonne, which is really good. So lots of people are making money about with that. And copper is the highest I've ever seen it in a very long time, over 9,000 a tonne US, which makes it $11,654 a tonne Australian. Now, the other thing that comes into this area of hard rock is the gold price. Now, for those that remember looking at the price last year, it was up around that 2,600 mark. The reason that it's come down that much is more to do with the Australian dollar strengthening than anything else. When gold was 2,600 an ounce, the Australian dollar was around that 69 to 71 cents US. Now it's gone up to 77 and 78 cents, which means that the gold price has come down. But everybody's still making money at that price point, and lots of people have hedged forwards on a larger price as well. So one of the reasons that nickel and copper specifically have bounced, and if you come down here and have a look at their chart, I've put that back for 3 years, you can see it's been pretty stable and then it's spiked. These spiking numbers are because China is buying lots of stuff and they're making lots of stuff, and that correlates into all the other metals and things that they need to buy to make stuff. If you come over to the nickel price, you can see that this was the original panic back in 2019 where the price went through the roof when they worked out that they needed nickel for batteries, and this is the COVID incident that we've had, and now again China is back to making electric cars and all that sort of stuff. They've pushed the price back up again. These high prices in copper, nickel, iron ore as well, they're not about stockpiling material, it's all about building stuff and selling stuff, and that's why they're buying it. So if you come over to Seek and you type dump truck in, you'll see a lot of jobs come up for the surface. If you type surface in, you'll see even more jobs come up. A lot of these companies are looking for experienced people, and they're trying to snatch them or poach them off the iron ore sites as the more and more iron ore sites become driverless. So a good place for a new starter to have a look is underground, as everybody in underground is having to hire nippers, trucks and offsiders for entry-level work, as well as we've picked up a few people that have got service crew jobs in the last 6 months that have done the sponsors training as well. So if you want to have a look at the sponsors training, then it's Intro to Underground Mining on their underground training website. Teaches you everything that you need to know about how a mine works. If we click into basic, this is the new website, which I really like. It shows you everything that you're going to learn. You can collapse it and have a look. So it goes through all the duties, and then in module 2 goes through the hard rock mine operation, ventilation, ground support, development mining. Teaches you everything the employer wants you to know. What jobs everybody has to do on the mine site, so it gives you a good understanding of what you're getting yourself into. Scaling, which is an important part of all hard rock mining, whether it be on the surface or underground. And talking about the different, what's going on with safety, skills in the workplace, positive tips for safety, and surviving the first 12 months. You go on to the second course, it breaks down with even more information. So the duties of the nipper, what you've got to do specifically as a nipper, watering down, which is often part of the nipper's job. And it also goes into general mining information, teaches you all this stuff that they teach you when you first get to site, and this is what people have trouble with, learning all this at the same time as they're learning how to nipper or drive the truck. If you go in knowing all this information already, it makes life a lot easier for you, and it means that you've got a much better chance of making it. Now if we move on to iron ore, you'll see the price is significant, and it's over $216 a tonne Australian, which is a significant price, and you'd be wondering why they wouldn't be looking to employ more people. If we come over to Google and we Google driverless iron ore trucks, you'll see that the big three are all in the process of replacing lots of their truck drivers, which is why the open pit gold mines are trying to poach these people with a little bit of experience, which also leads you to, if you go into here, back to this dump truck job, one of the first ones that come up is a BHP job, traineeship for South Frank. And if you click onto the ad like this and you go down, you'll see that they're really not even going to start the engagement centres until the middle of April or early June. If you go onto a lot of the Facebook pages, there are people that applied for these sort of jobs last year, in the middle of the year, at the end of the year, that are still waiting. This is, if you're going to hang your hat on trying to get a job here, you're probably going to be waiting a long time. This is one of the things that the media really doesn't talk about the fact that, you know, they've put these traineeship jobs up, but there's probably only 50 to 100 at most, and there's probably going to be 10,000 plus people apply for it. You've got a much better chance getting a job in a hard rock open cut mine or a hard rock underground mine than you do in an iron ore mine at the moment. Now, if we move on to coal, you'll see that it's $66 US, and then that makes it about $85 a tonne Australian, which means that it's still very marginal for a lot of companies operating. And unfortunately, what doesn't help is that there's been a whole heap of new finds in Russia and Indonesia and in the African countries that are enabling China to ditch Australian coal and move to those resources instead. Now, the other thing that's happening in the coal mines that nobody's really talking about is that BHP are going to replace all their trucks on their coal mines in Queensland with driverless trucks over the next 2 to 3 years. They've decided that if you've got a strip mine operation, then they're going to go driverless. Now, to talk about what a strip mining operation is and what justifies it, you can have a look at the sponsors page. They've got a good page on autonomous trucks in mining, and it talks about the different areas of mining that you can use these autonomous trucks and the areas that you can't. The other thing that BHP has decided on, and this is an old article, but it's just been announced at their AGM a couple of weeks ago, is that they've committed to either selling their 2 thermal coal mines in New South Wales, and if they can't sell them in the next 12 months, they're just going to shut them down. So that's an unfortunate thing that's going on as well in regards to coal. If you want to have a crack at getting in, I suggest you have a look at gold, and this map brings up a good area of where all the gold mines are. A lot of these areas are the same areas for copper as well, because copper and gold run together, and since they're both having good high prices, everybody's looking for people, and this would be the areas that I would concentrate on. Your open cut copper mines or nickel mines or zinc mines, or your underground nickel, gold, lead, zinc mines. These are the areas as a new starter you should be looking at getting yourself into. Now, I hope you found that information helpful, and if you could share this information and like the channel, that would be wonderful. Thanks.